we are, just heading down towards the Bilbunya dunes in a west direction at the moment, along the top of the beach, because in a lot of places there isn't any bottom of the beach. It's very steep, narrow beach, which means soft sand. Every metre forward, another metre to the ocean, and the low side, the low side's going to be the one that goes in. Sticking up the top of the beach for a few reasons. I feel a lot safer there, number one. Okay, there's an access to the beach point, just a mental note. Okay, yep. So we get up here where there's less weed, so that's the other reason. Where the weed is, it's a bit of a bumpy run, so a lot of areas you can get right up the top of the beach and out of the weed, so you get a bit of a smoother run. And actually, unusually, some beaches, but rarely is it firmer up the top. But on this beach, so far, going high side, obviously not onto the vegetation, but going up here, like now, even though I'm on a bigger angle, it's just doing it a bit easier. This is just absolutely cruisy, which you wouldn't think. You drop down onto the weed, now the car's doing it easy, I can tell you. My foot's backed off the pedal, it's like a firmer beach. It works much better, but of course I'm going to drop down and miss the vegetation where that occurs. Your issues along these beaches, as you can see, all the weed, it gets buried under the sand, so it can be a bit lumpy. There can be sort of washed out gutters, you've got to keep your eyes peeled. And the beach, the further you go to the left, some areas are okay to drive on, some are quite soft, and a lot softer than what's up here. So you could probably get down there a bit, but you could easily probably get caught out too. So there is one other set of tracks to the left down the beach. Well, there's two sets of tracks actually I can see at the moment, probably from in the last week or something like that. So that's probably what you get, about 2 cars a week down here, until you get a busy time where you get 5 a week. What have we got there? A bit of foreign debris, nothing natural. So here where it flattens out, you could probably get out on the firmer sand, but don't assume it's firm because you've been to other beaches because it looks firm. It can actually be not very firm at all, so yeah, just watch out for that. We're going to stay at the top of the beaches pretty much the whole time, especially given where you are, communications, recovery service, you've got to be able to sort yourself out. So don't be coming down here until you've got some sand driving experience, and or with people that know the area, or a lot of other, sand driving and full driving experience is my recommendation. Yeah, watch out for the weeds. Some places it could be really thick. I mean, 2, 3 foot, 4 foot maybe. I've seen embankments of weed along these WA beaches that are just massive, like that sand bank at the start of the video. And once they get covered in sand, that's the soft stuff you'll be kind of stuck in, you know what I mean? So anyway, let's get down to these dunes. A few area tips and driving information. So far, just to give you an idea, from filling up at Bilbunya, we're on 168 kilometres. If you haven't seen the previous videos, it's probably worth checking those out. That's why I always say subscribe, turn the bell on so you can see them in the order they come out, because usually I'll get them in the right order, not always. And if it comes out in the wrong order, it doesn't matter, because it just doesn't matter. So a little bit rougher there, a few bumps of weed. So we actually run out of beach going this way. This drop-off gutter, it's up into the vegetation, it's some rough terrain, and we've got like a 4-foot drop-off. So we turned around. I tried the reverse up option, didn't really, it didn't work out. So then we sort of got back on track, reversed up a bit, turned it around anyway. Used a couple of max tracks on the front to get the steering, and then worked out to hit it at a bit of speed and turn up the dune and reverse down was the better option. The sand up here, it's not too soft, but once you start going up steep and sideways and all that and turning, that's where you're going to have issues. So anyway, we've checked the beach down towards the water. There is some that's concrete, a lot of it's buried in weed. There's all bubble holes and it's quite soft and it narrows off. So if we drop down on the low side to go under that gutter, at the end of the day, there's a bit of beach that really narrows off and it gets steep. So what we already know what happens on those sort of beaches is, not good, because it's soft, it's narrow, and then you're on an angle, so it puts all the weight of the vehicle on one side. So instead of having all your weight on 4 tyres, it's on 2, so nice beach drive, but we're not going to make it to the dunes that way today. So we're going to look for the next way to cut, if there is a way to cut through the dunes. We did see a few ways to go through, rather than go all the way back to where we were, because yesterday we did.
You reckon that might be a way?
Anyway, so the Max Tracks did really come in handy. Just got them on the roof, on the Roller Titan tray, on the K-On folding bracket, on the Max Tracks mounts, with the Trax key tool. It was nice and easy to open up the little locks, and I just took off 2 Max Tracks, put those in. What actually happened, so I went, okay, I'm going to try this, because there's always option B, C, D, you know, letting tyres down and sorting out all your problems. We've got shovels, it's just sand at the end of the day, you can sort it out. We're not on any time clock. So I went, okay, I tried the reverse and right hand down up into the dune, but I was probably going a bit slow, a bit too confident in how firm it was up high. And of course that dug in a bit, and then going forward, backwards wasn't working. I was going to end up going over that edge maybe. So then I went, okay, either let the tyres down, or I went, you know what, let's just grab a couple of Max Tracks and put them in front of the front tyres. Pretty much close to full locked it to the right on the way down to get the vehicle turning, and then back onto the track how we were, and then reversed up a little bit, and then went forwards at a bit of momentum right up into the sand dunes, if you like. Not on vegetation, of course, and then just backed it down and turned around, same as what the vehicle in picture did also. So we've just come back around behind the dunes through a little clear sneak through spot. Bit hard to describe exactly where it is, but there's a lot of exploring to be done out here. There's not many tracks or whatever to follow, and like I said, out here you've got to be careful. You get a few soft wet spots on these sorts of things, but there's some tracks out here which is good. So we'll stick where those are because it looks pretty good. Sometimes I'm in 2 minds. Better to follow the track that's there that's been paved. If it's not a well-used track, it's only been used once or twice, you could be the 3rd or 4th car to hit the same track and it doesn't work out for you. So sometimes it's better to be just off it and make a fresh line so that you're not digging in, if you know what I mean. Because this could be the sort of thing that's dry and firm on top, and underneath it's just a slurry, you just don't know. There's so many different areas that are varying, you know, and you can find out the hard way. This narrow section here, we're about a metre and a half from the edge of about a 4 or 5 foot drop off and a deep gutter, and the tide's on the way in, so so we headed back off the beach up the standard way, following the main track past the sign. About a K up you come to a sign. And yeah, it was sort of heading along east now. We'll eventually, about 8 or 10 k's up the track, come to that intersection where we came in, the one that takes you back out towards Baladonia, to the highway there. If you missed the other video, you might want to check that. There's a couple of drums on the side of the road at the moment, but the track is on the maps. Just got to find that. We're going to keep heading east, Toolinna Cove, and onwards from there, so stay tuned either in this video or the next one, and we'll let you know what we see. A little bit overgrown, not too bad at this point, but I'm sure it'll get worse before it gets better. Up here once again, this rubber mat. I'm going to put the locker on just to keep, not that we can't get up, but just to keep the wheels not spinning for the uneven ground, because I don't want to slip and spin a wheel on these bits of Rio bar that pin these mats down. I've really got to keep a sharp lookout, because there's a couple at least. There's, I think I'll see maybe one under us now in the middle, that the top comes off and then they're left sticking out, which is definitely what you don't want in your tyre or in your sidewall of your tyre. So we'll just crawl up. There's a few sticking up there, right in the middle. I'm looking, there's a couple more there, there's a few more. And the T-bars, they're on the outside and they're in the middle and they're on the inside. So you can't really avoid them completely. So if I'm going to hit one, I'm going to try and pick a good one. So it's, once again, picking your line, having your tyres on the right spot. So the idea of, we've got LSD in the rear, works pretty well. But the idea of having, not that you would spin a wheel, but the idea of having the front locker on is to just help it all stay together so you're not spinning a wheel, if you know what I mean, and hopefully, fingers crossed, no problem. Oh, there's the end of one there, that's nasty. Hopefully, we're okay. Concentration, mate, trying to dodge these. There's at least a few without tops on them, so keep your eyes peeled, do your best. Should be right.
Yeah, I did see a few dodgy ones just back there.
Right, lock her off now. Even though we got the rough bit. No, we don't need no locker for that. This is easy stuff for a 120 Prado. No, look at that view back in the beach. Beautiful. This is that last little rough pinch. Yeah, it's not much, it's nothing really. You know, you just take it slow and crawl over it, right? And we continue. Well, we're about bog hole up here, actually. It's like a bit of entertainment for you. I might have hit go on the camera at the right time. Look at this, eh? Bit of soup. I'll try and get out of the ruts. A little bit of momentum and sort of nearly tried to slide back into it, but worked out alright that time. Now, what was I saying? So we headed back up off the beach, little intersection sign, hang a right, back to the intersection where you come in from that original road we came in on the previous video. If it all works out right, it'll be like, you know, the last video. That'll probably be called something like, you know, getting to Point Cove, some vehicle damage and whatever, so you can have a look for that one if you haven't found it yet. This one I think was going to be probably, you know, have a look at the biggest sand dunes in the morning and then head east, and that's what we're doing. So instead of taking the road back out, we've taken the road east. This is about 10 k's in towards the 50k trek of going to Toolinna Cove, and it has dried up a lot. There's no more rain expected, so that's the good news. But because of recent lot of rain, you can see, so it's not wet, but there's a few wet patches still, creating a bit of entertainment at times. So probably, if we wanted to waste time, we could get out with the camera and show you all the action, but you know what it looks like, don't you? You've seen it all before, and it's a bit wet and a bit boggy. Just cruising, you know, a lot of rock in this, just a few patches where you get that red clay without any rock in it, a bit slippery. So yeah, 10 k's in at the moment out of 50. Next stop, Toolinna Cove. Yeah, Toolinna Cove. And this is a official rock hole, and there is a gentleman over there filling up another rock hole.